fueling your body well.
No,
like
it's sugar.
Like when you fill up your car, you got to use the right gas. You're not using the right gas.
Exactly.
You're like watering it down and thinking like, yeah, this will get me by.
You are what you eat, is what they say. So if you eat a bunch of gummy worms, you'll just turn into a big gummy worm.
Yeah, like a big Jabba the Hutt looking gummy worm.
That'd be pretty cool, man.
No one.
If you were just a giant gummy worm monstrosity.
Yeah.
I'll take a little bite out of you. I love gummy worms. Gummy worms are the greatest, but I don't know, dude. I just like I can't eat candy like I used to.
Sometimes, though.
Hard to what?
It's hard to not be gluttonous sometimes because it's just like food is really good.
Food is the best, and you just want to eat it.
I usually get caught off guard because I'll start eating when I'm bored, or like I'm like, wait, I'm not eating right now. I feel like I want to be snacking on something. I'm a little bit hungry. Let me just start eating out of this chip bag, and all of a sudden the bag's over, and I'm like, oh wow. Let me go watch this show, and then I'll like, I could use an ice cream right now, like that type of shit.
Yeah.
It just builds up. Ow! I'm seeing long hair in the shower, and I'm like, my mom visited so long ago. Like, why are her hair still in the shower? I'm like, oh wait.
Your mom has like eating hairs that are slowly creeping back up.
That would terrify me.
It's like an it. And your hair like shoots out the drain and like grabs her. It's gonna do that to you.
Fully aware hair is terrifying.
I hate that. This podcast is sponsored by Fully Aware Hair.
Fully Aware Hair. It's the best hair product in town. Well, not as good as, never mind. Actually, you know what? They don't have a sponsor this time.
Not on this episode, so.
I won't even mention your name.
What if they pulled a sponsorship because of that? And like, what? We didn't call you out. We didn't mention your name. And they'd be like, oh yeah, well you put two and two together, and like, oh, oops.
Fuck you.
Stop! Don't say that.
I'm kidding. If you're a cool sponsor,
they're not. Yeah, that's true. They gotta look at millennials. Yeah. And if they know that if they pull it, all the millennials are gonna be.
Let's be honest, their company can't afford not to look hip and
We don't mean it.
Yeah, we don't mean it. We're just goofing around.
Just throwing goofs all around, like it's a big
the subject. I'm scared.
Oh man, Ryan. But if your hair, imagine if you could feel in your if your hair had nerves. That would suck. Like laying in bed, like, God, dude, I can't imagine just how much
someone just like started flicking your hair.
Like, yeah, that would
like sawing your hair.
So they'd have to put you under. Imagine going in to get a haircut and you're like. You're like, I'm sure
your hair might look better if they actually paid that much attention to how your hair was cut. Imagine places that specialize that much to where it's like, we're gonna put you under so you're absolutely still, and I can work with you the way I need to.
Put you in like a zero gravity environment.
You're my canvas.
Man, I would love to have someone cut my hair that like cared about it like so fucking much. They're just like, listen, this is gonna be like, I'm gonna spend 3 hours and just, it's gonna look great. Because usually when you go in to get a haircut, you know, it's a job to them. You know,
yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people put passion into it, but there's a lot of people that are just like, all right, you're giving me money, I'm gonna cut your hair how you want it. I want to go into someone that looks at my hair, they look at the pattern, like they scan my head, they get the patterns of like the way my hair goes here, and they're like, all right, this is the best way to cut it, and it's gonna look good. And I'm gonna spend hours doing it, and I'm doing it because I have passion for your hair. That like you would have the greatest haircut. Yeah, it looks so good. You're like $5,000.
I just don't know what to do with my hair right now. I've always said like, I'm in an awkward phase. I'm legitimately in that awkward phase of life.
It doesn't look awkward.
No, like, I mean, I have a hat on right now. Well, a beanie, cap,
a toque.
Toque? Is this what this is?
That's what they call in Canada.
Okay.
Or I could be completely wrong. All the Canadians are like, what are you talking about?
What is Canada? Is it nice?
I've never been. I wouldn't know.
I don't think I'd like Canada.
I feel like I'd love Canada. Well, not in the
to
winter.
Live there, but I'd feel like I could visit there, and I feel like I would love Canada to visit. I feel like it would be great, especially when it's cold, because I like the cold. But then all of a sudden it's like, it's too cold, Ryan. Fuck off. You think you're just gonna fetishize Canadian culture like that?
Here's the thing, like, because Canada, like, the most southern point of Canada is more northern than the northern border of the United States, and that's too cold for me. like think about that. Like, that's freezing, man. Think about North Dakota. Think about how cold North Dakota is. Canada's above that. Do you want to live somewhere where it's that cold?
No.
And that? No.
Look, the California weather actually spoils a lot of people. They don't get the humidity. They don't get the biting cold. I mean,
you don't get the bugs. You don't get the pollen as much. You get the pollen a little bit. Like, I'm feeling it right now. I need an Allegra, but it's not that bad.
I have maybe gotten 1 or 2 mosquito bites since I've lived here.
Yeah, like the mosquitoes are they go somewhere else.
I don't know where they are. Like every now and then I'll get like a bug bite. I'll be like, where'd that come from? Oh well.
Imagine how Los Angeles would feel if the air was clean. Like the weather combined with like clean air. How great that would be.
That would feel wonderful. You can kind of like get that experience.
Yeah. Oh, it feels so much
get away
nicer.
From the city.
You can notice like an actual like difference when you go somewhere like away from Los Angeles.
As the sun shines through the smog, it was a beautiful day in downtown Los Angeles.
Oh, the smog. There's so much smog, man. Like,
I challenge someone to write like the opening of a book that takes place in downtown Los Angeles and not make it seem like it's depressing
and gross.
Like, and be realistic. Don't be like, oh, the birds were chirping, all the red robins were out flying around, the clouds were beautifully placed, the cumulonimbus orgasmic fashions of society. I don't know.
I was like, what?
That's what a lot of writers do. They use a bunch of words and mash them together, and then by the end of it, you're like, what was
Just
that?
go on thesaurus.com.
Excuse me?
Dude, I got mad respect for the people that did that.
I did that in middle school.
Oh,
when
same.
I'd be like writing short stories. I'd be like,
oh yeah,
I don't want to use this word.
You'd like take a boring adjective, make it sexy with thesaurus.com.
But of course, then sometimes you'd use the wrong type of word because it doesn't actually articulate what you're trying to say.
It sounds like it does,
way.
but it doesn't. I got mad respect for the guys that were able to write like that back in like the 1600s when thesauruses were like, you know, not a big popular thing.
You had to go to the district library.
They had to be educated to write like that, dude.
Like, look at a book that was chained to a post.
Yeah, or like, I saw a book somewhere that was chained like to a thing, and I think it was a dictionary at some like, maybe it was at like some like national library in Washington D.C. or something, but it was like 3 feet big, and it was like the biggest book I've ever seen. I said, that's a big book. I can't read that whole thing.
That is a big book.
That's a huge book.
I'm trying to think of the biggest book I've ever seen. I'm thinking back. The Bible, it's a big book, but it's not that big. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot to it. It's a boring book, but like it's not thick. Like, you don't look at it and go, oh, that was big. That's a reader, let me tell you.
I couldn't. It's over 2,000 pages. I can't read that.
I feel like the Goblet of Fire is longer than the Bible.
Well, the thing about the size of the print, Goblet of Fire's got bigger print and more space, and the Bible's got like tiny print and tiny spacing. It's 2,000 something pages. Just like, woo!
Also not entertaining. It's not an entertaining 2,000 pages. They have little sparse moments of being entertained, and then they have... It's just kind of like reading Shakespeare when you don't know the like certain cadences and...
Dude, that's
like,
hard. Reading Shakespeare
time.
is... I remember in high school when I had to like read a Shakespeare book, I'd read like a page and be like, what the fuck did they just say?
And like the English teacher, like I'm like, why do we have to learn this old English? Like students in the class are barely literate as it is. Like, like why are we studying this? Like teach people how to actually use the language in which we speak today.
Let me read Fun with Dick and Jane or something. Like,
I feel like English class should have focused more on kind of maybe even go into the history of our language so we can get to the stems and roots. Because it's like, we're learning stems today, we're learning vocab, but they never tied it together for me in this seamless kind of line that I think when you're learning something helps a lot progress in a certain way. Like with math, you have to learn things to progress to the next level. In English, it was like, let's learn some words, let's read a book every now and then.
yeah.
But I think it would have been better if they built upon the language more in terms of the way I was taught. In my way, it was very haphazard the way I was taught.
And I actually had to read some really good stuff for my AP Lit class. Because, oh my god, I took an AP Lit class in high school, and the teacher was... I've never had a teacher that gave that much reading. Like
No, it sucked. I was in an AP.
So much reading.
I can't remember what year I was in AP Lit, but I just remember that was the time where I think we read Animal House and the Odyssey, and we read a bunch of classics, and like, we also read some new stuff. It was just basically the whole class was read a book, take a test on that book. Read a book,
yeah. Did you have to annotate the pages?
Yep.
I had to annotate the pages, and like I don't that when you require annotation like that, no one takes it seriously.
We were supposed to.
Yeah, you just
I
write.
bullshit my
exactly. Like I don't think a single person
important character.
Yeah, stuff like that. They're just like, wow.
Yeah, wow. What? An animal. What did I say? Animal House? When I said reading a book?
You did say Animal House.
Animal House.
Like the movie?
No, not the movie. What am I thinking of? Animal Barn? What's the book called?
I know what you're talking
It's a
about.
political book, and they use pigs and farm animals.
I know what you're talking about, and it's not Animal House.
Not, I know. Animal House is the fucking goofy
like the
movie where the guy climbs
movie.
up on the ladder, sees boobies, and goes doom, and then he falls down.
Yeah, it's based on the classic book.
What is it?
No.
Farm.
The barnyard.
Book.
Back to the barnyard.
Book about farm animals.
It's
communism.
Is it about?
It's about farm animals and communism. Animal Farm.
Animal Farm. Okay, not Animal House.
Animal House.
I bet there's so many people who said Animal House are like, oh, Ryan.
I know.
Oh man, I knew that AP Lit class was gonna suck when I got my summer reading list, and all the books were over 500 pages, and it was pick 3. Well, I had to pick 2, and then one of them was required, and it was like 600 or 700 pages.
I remember going like, do they really expect me to read 3 books?
I was like, holy shit, I cannot read this much, like, over the summer. And then I had to. And summer reading always turned to the thing where it's like the last 2 weeks of summer.
Yeah.
You just have to sit and read books. And it's like, I was too scared to use those, because I'm like, I'm gonna get off to such a bad start. I did, though.
For me, not with summer reading. I used those for summer reading, but I didn't use those as much. I used them like twice later in high school.
Yeah.
But like I didn't use them for the major books we were reading in the class. I'd actually read those. Or like I liked it when we all read in the class and the teacher went along and explained.
Yeah, that's cool. I remember like, oh man, Spark Notes. I think that's why teachers had you do annotations, was because it's like, then you have to go page by page, and even if you do fake it, it's like it just makes it that much harder, so you might as well read it.
Yeah.
Like, I like reading. I really do. I need to do it more. Like, I just need more good books. I was in Barnes & Noble last night, and I was just looking at all the books, and I'm like, man, I want more books. I just don't know, like, what's good or you know, where to start.
Have you read The Road?
I have not read The Road.
It's an easy read, and I think it's really good.
I know. It's your favorite book. What's my favorite book, Ryan? Said it a million times, man.
Your favorite? Hold on.
I knew your favorite book, The Road by Cormac McCarthy. Why don't you know mine?
Your favorite book is fucking, hold on, I know it. The Boxcart Kids.
Dude, how did you know?
Dude,
I didn't expect you to remember. I love the Boxcart Kids.
What is your favorite book?
Norwegian Wood.
See, I can't remember that because I don't know who wrote it. I don't have a
Haruki Murakami.
I don't know who that is.
He's a super famous author. He's so good.
Is he as famous as fucking Tolkien, dude?
But Tolkien has more years behind him.
Is he bigger than Where the Sidewalk Ends, man?
You don't even know his name. So
he looks weird. He looks scary.
Shel Silverstein.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does look a little weird.
It's a jump scare every time you turn to the back of the
like,
book.
Ah!
No, I'm here. Ah!
He's at the end of the sidewalk. You get to the end of the sidewalk and he's, hey. Yeah, I love Shel Silverstein.
Okay, so Norwegian Wood.
Norwegian Wood. I have a hard time saying the word Norwegian. I always want to say Norwegian. I want to say Norwegian.
The Norwegian.
Norwegian Wood's a good book. It's really sad.
Region.
And also my second favorite book, if not tied with Norwegian Wood, is After the Quake, also by Haruki Murakami.
After the Quake.
It's a collection of short stories. Yeah, I read it, the whole thing on a plane, and I was like, it's so fucking good, dude.
Yeah.
I have a lot of other favorite books. I remember I read this book in high school I really liked called Half Brother, and it was about this like family that adopted a chimp, tried to teach it sign language, and I just remember I really liked it when I read it.